Hello, Flosstube. Welcome to my channel, Stitching in South Jersey. My name is Debbie, and today is Thursday, September the 18th, 2025. This is my 12th, this is Flosstube 12, my August stitching update, and some other things. A little late, so I figured I better get this done because I usually try and upload a video around the 10th or the 11th. And as we go, I'll explain all of the reasons why that didn't happen. And today is Thursday, September 18th. And if you hear barking, that is because the school at the corner will be letting out soon. And try as I might to not video when the kids are coming home from school, it seems to happen that way. It is not the children barking, it is Killer barking at the children. So, although we had to turn the air back on, I was doing so good with turning the air off and opening the windows, which would actually make the children noise worse and the barking worse. But it's really hot today. It's about 80 degrees, and it's very high humidity after a couple of chilly, rainy days yesterday. So I will apologize for my hair. I was showing a house yesterday, and it was a commercial business, and part of it was outside, and it was pretty steadily drizzling the entire time. So it was one thing or the other. Make the hair nice or do the video. We're doing the video. So, okay, now that we are 2 minutes in and I've said nothing, thank you to all who have liked, subscribed, commented, come back. Any new viewers, welcome. I hope you like what you see. And I'm actually adding another segment today at the end. And you know, I always say no apologies, but other than the hair thing that's going on, I am going to apologize because I told you that Joey Forget About It would make a cameo appearance. Joey Forget About It is currently out of town on business and will not be landing until about 8:30 tonight. And I can guarantee you that this would not be the first thing that was on his mind to do once he got home, since he does also still have to go into work tomorrow. So maybe next month I will get him, you know, of course he prefers to remain a mystery, but I told him a cameo appearance won't kill him. So I apologize for overscheduling him. And if I had done the video when I wanted to do the video, he would have been here at least over the weekend. But he's traveling. So, okay, so on the agenda today, we have, I have 10 whips from August, which have bled into September, like seriously bled into September, as you'll see. I fully finished Sweater Weather, which Sweater Weather, not a New Yorker. We say Sweater Weather down here in Philly. I fully finished that. Took several tries, but I'm going to show that to you. I do have a pass finish, Country Cottage Needleworks Cottage of the Month, September. That should get us all caught up. I think that will be 12 of those that I've shown you because, honestly, I recorded my first Flosstube on September 27th of 2024. I don't think I uploaded it for 3 weeks because I was sure I was never going to upload it. But I recorded it on September 27th. So we're just about at the 1 year mark. Not going to do a whip parade until the end, closer to the end of the year. Probably that silent week between Christmas and New Year's where everybody's just like, oh, I feel like that's a good time for me. And I have no new starts this time, which is good, but I do have plans for new starts. So, okay, so let's get into it. First, I will show you, I have the finishes sitting right in front of me. Oh, and one more thing. It's allergy season. It's September in New Jersey, and my eyes have been very, very itchy. So, instead of wearing my normal contact lenses, I'm wearing daily lenses that you could just throw out at the end of the day. So it's much easier on my eyes because they itch less because there's no stuff on the lenses. As a result of that, I can't see close up anymore. So you will see me squinting. You will see me putting these actually on. My contact lenses, my regular lenses have readers in them, and I do not need, except when stitching, I do not need to wear reading glasses. But when I wear the dailies, same prescription, for some reason the readers don't work the same. So I need to wear a pair of cheaters. They're not prescription. Just so that I can see my phone, my computer. Middle distance is really bad. It's like, but I could tell you what something, a street sign 2 blocks away says, but can't tell you what's on my phone. So you'll see me squinting, sorry. You'll see me putting my glasses on and off. I don't want to keep them on. I'm just not used to wearing glasses. So, but I did print my handy dandy agenda really large, so I don't think I need it for that. So, okay, finishes. This is September by Country Cottage Needleworks. You know the deal if you've been with me for a while. I'm not going to show you the back of that. Magnets. Just change it every month. And I just back it with whatever fabric I want, and as you can see, straight lines are a problem for me. They really are. But so are sharp knives, so I'd rather have my lines be a little crooked than my knives cut my fingers off. So I can live with it. Nobody else has to live with it but me. And then I just finished this week. Last week. This week. Sweater Weather by Plum Street. And here is my finish. It's on a little easel. I really don't want to take it off. Also on magnets. I tried just putting 2 magnets on the, like, about a quarter of the way down. That was not holding this. And all I did was, you know, put a little matting, put it on some cardboard, and then found fabric. But the first time I did it, this piece was bigger. I had more margin. This piece was bigger. And it just didn't look the same on this easel. And I just bought these little cute little baubles at Hobby Lobby. And these are things that were in my fall decor. I'm now fully decorated for fall, thank goodness. So I really like the way that came out. Again, don't look too close. No, you haven't been drinking. My lines are not straight. Sorry, not sorry. Better than cutting my finger off. But it is sort of not that easy to hack through. And I do have the round blade. I know that's what everybody's going to recommend. Doesn't help. If there's a way for me to cut myself, I will do it. So when Joey forget about it's not around, I'm on my own. So I thought that came out really cute, and I like where I have it sitting. I'm just going to step out of frame to put this down so I don't accidentally knock it over. Which brings me to anybody that's new. I did show this in my Flosstube #1 Whip Parade. This is Hello from Liz Matthews Quaker Pumpkins, and it is, I don't really want to take it off the wall, but it is spectacular. And the only thing I changed was I put green there. And if I could do it again, I know some people changed it to like Autumn Harvest or whatever. I would probably do that. But everything else is called for. And you know what? I don't think the fabric is called for. I think this is Picture This Plus Ale. Because I bought it for something else. No. I don't know. Picture This Plus something. I think the stitched model on Liz Matthews' photo with the pattern is lighter. but I really like this. The colors still stand out, so that'll stay there until Christmas stuff goes up. So, okay, got through all of that. And I wasn't even going to talk about that, but I can see it, so you can clearly see it. So, figured I might as well mention it for anybody that is new or newish and didn't see me talk about it the last time. All right, 10 minutes in, here we go. So first, I'm a little disorganized today, I'm not gonna lie. I didn't feel so good yesterday. I was out in the rain. My car was in for service, and I just went and picked it up. I'm just a little discombobulated again, but here we go. Okay, in the month of August, I stitched on 10 things, like I said, and first up was, you've all seen it, please ignore my notes to me, Pandemic by Long Dog Samplers. There are so many things I would do different on this. I just cannot even express it enough. But I didn't. I'm certainly not starting over because it is, I have full coverage projects that I will finish before I finish this. And here is my progress. I am still working away in here. I mean, this isn't even close. So this is stitched on, I don't know, because this is the only one of my whips that I never made a card for, and I don't know why. What would I change? So it's some bluish gray fabric. I would definitely use like a Lagana, probably. I would not use an Aida if I had to do it over. I would probably not do these colors if I had to do it over. I'm using Sulky thread, Holiday, I think it is. And I am doing it, I think it's 18 count. It looks like it's 18 count. And I'm doing it 2 threads over 1 square, 2 over 1, which when you're using like a sulky thread variegated like that, like this is, as you can see, I have to match. So I cut one length and then I have to match it to an exact same other length. That is very time consuming. Also, I would change that. But for now, this is where we are. It's going well. I was a little worried about, the shading thing that happens with Long Dog, or if you don't know, they shade both sides of their pages. So you could end up being a few columns short. It's kind of hard to explain, but if you need to know what I'm talking about, just message me and I will explain it in detail. Okay, we're never gonna get done if we don't go a little faster. Okay, second, sorry, I'm dropping them onto a wooden chair, one of my dining room chairs, because I just feel like I didn't pull the chair close enough, so maybe I should. Like I said, a little bit of a hot mess. Second, Little Women Christmas Morning by Twin Peak Primitives. This is stitched on 18 count Zweigart Petty Point Gray. Just like this, actually. Yes, it is. It's just like this. I really like this one. I saw Pam from Just Keep Stitching, and as soon as I saw it, I don't even think I let her finish talking about it, and I ordered it. So here's where I am. I'm on page, I'm not going to take it all the way out of the Q snap because there's really not a lot to see. I think I'm on middle of page 2. Well, okay, so not the middle of page 2, but I'm on page 2. And it's fun. It's a lot of fun, but I kind of cut this one short this year, this rotation, because I had spent I was running behind from finishing up other things or working on other things, and I don't know, something had to give, right? I'm already at the 18th of September, and as you'll see, my 10th whip, I'm still working on it, and we'll give it the rest of today. Okay, next is Let Freedom Ring by Leela Studios. Stitched on 28 count, picture this, plus Legacy Lugana. I started this September of 2020. You all know this is close to my heart and close to my location. I live about 15 minutes from Independence Hall and the Liberty Bell. So it is very close to my heart. This is also almost the size of the Liberty Bell. Like, until I took it out to move the Q-snap, holy moly on this fabric. All right, I'm gonna step back. Not sorry for not ironing, but this is where I am. Oh, I think I have a page finished. Let me look at this real fast. I did. I finished this page. That is a page finish. I did get a couple of page finishes this month, so it's worth bleeding into August, bleeding into September. And I love this, but honestly, this could be Killer's dog blanket. It is enormous. And I can't see what you say. But it's fun, and the next rotation, anything I didn't give a lot of love to this time, I will, in the next rotation, go back, because I could see how many days I worked on it. You know, I mark it on a calendar. Okay, next is Route 66 Christmas Diner by Design Works. Love this pattern. Don't love, again, for the crowd, don't love that the beads or the French knots or whatever are on the pattern, very often covering a symbol. So that slows me down a little because I have to stop and think which color symbol it is. But here's where I am. Again, still in the Q-snap because this is all of it. But I'm getting there, right? The diner's coming into view. I really like this. And this is full coverage. What did I say I did this on? I didn't. Stitched on 16 count, picture this plus Sprite. You can't really tell, but it's a very, 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 very light purple. And I started this October 13th of 2020. It did come with fabric, and there's Killer. She's disgruntled today. I told you it was going to happen. It's not even the kids. I think it's the mailman. Or it could be Amazon, UPS, or FedEx. Not necessarily for me. Could be anybody on the street. She does not like those people going down her street. Okay, next, Seashell Reef by Cooler Design Studios. Stitched on 18 count earthen by Picture This Plus. I started this March 19th, 2024, and I got a page finish. And I am changing colors. I'm changing some of the blues. Anywhere you see the words, I don't know if that, I can't tell if that's clear or not to you. Oh, hello. Anywhere you see these blues, I am actually changing those to a different blue, more like a blue-gray sort of, which would complement. I know you probably can't believe it because this room, I can see it, looks so green in the on camera, and it is very much a greenish, grayish, bluish. So that's what I kind of picked. You can't see it. I mean, it's impossible. I don't know why colors come up so funny the way they do. And here's where I got to. Wait, let me make sure. Yep. So that is a page finish. So in here is what I changed. And like right in there. You know, I'm not a baby blue fan. There's nothing in my house that's like a light blue. Probably because I grew up in a house where my dad was a carpenter, and that man could not stand to see a piece of wood in its natural state. Everything got painted baby blue. So our bathroom was baby blue, but there were bookshelves on either side of the fireplace in the living room, and he painted them. He made them. They were gorgeous, and he painted them baby blue for my entire life. They were always baby blue. So I sort of have a little aversion to that. Next, Wine, Cheese, and Grapes by Cross Stitch Heirlooms. This is stitched on 18 count vintage country mocha, and I started this July 14th of 2020. And I love this. This kind of design is very close to my heart, but it's a lot of stitching. And I'm on page 2, and you would never know it. The only good thing is there's not really any back stitch. Like, it's going to be one of those things you have to kind of stand back and look at, and then the picture comes into shape. But that's where I am. And this is on Pattern Keeper. Oh, and I forgot to write all that information down. Sorry. I think it's the only one of the ones I'm showing you that I use Pattern Keeper for. And I really, really need to get a new tablet. I'm using one that was sort of like a swag giveaway that I got somewhere. And it's horrible. And it literally takes, it says tablet is starting for no less than 15 minutes. And honestly, I'm not getting any younger. I don't know how many 15 minutes I can wait for Pattern Keeper, for just the tablet to come on, let alone, you know, to get to what I need it to get to. So I'm looking for a good tablet. I don't want to spend a lot of money. I have an iPad. I actually have 2 iPads. I don't need something good, but I need something better than that. And Samsung, everybody talks about Samsung. They're not cheap, you know. I don't want to spend $400 or $500 because it is literally the only thing I would use it for is Pattern Keeper. I have a Kindle. I don't even want to go through all that. You know, I know you can get it on there, and sometimes it's great and sometimes it's not. So if you got any ideas for me, put in the comments below. I would appreciate it. Okay, another cooler design, Cooler Classic Designs. This one is the Summer Sampler. This is stitched on 16 count chamois by Picture This Plus, and I started this in September 2019. Also, a ton of stitching, but kind of fun. Like, you know, you go through the various, like, sections. So, makes you feel a little bit accomplished. And no back stitching yet. It has a ton of back stitching, and I know a lot of people back stitch as they go, especially on this one. I've seen it a million times. Not me. No interest in that, because I am not gentle, and I will probably rip everything out. You know, rip out all the back stitching accidentally. So this is also a page finish. So I'm very happy about that. You know, glad to be moving on to, you know, page finish just makes you feel like, okay, I'm making some progress. And I feel like I did that a couple of times in August, so it's okay that I kind of bled into September. And then September finishes out my wheel, my Tiny Decisions wheel, and I go into reset as soon as I finish the September whips. So that's always fun too, because then you don't know what you're getting. And it, you know, I don't know if anybody else goes through this, but you swear you stitched on something. So I keep a calendar. I think I showed you this before. It's a yearly calendar. It has the 12 months, and every time a whip comes up for me to stitch on, I circle what days I worked on it. So if it comes up, say, twice a year, I might see that I stitched on it in March, and then I might see that I stitched on it in November or whatever. There were at least 2, and I should have marked it down. When I do my whip parade at the end of the year, I will get into details about that. But there were 2 that I did not have a 2025 calendar for. So how is that possible that I got all the way to, let's say, August, 8 months in, without having touched it in the whole year? The only thing I can think is I must have touched it when I reset the wheel. I think I reset it October and November last year. Then it reset again in April. So maybe I stitched it, let's just say December of 2024, and then the wheel reset, but I didn't need a new calendar because that was on the 2024 calendar. It's the only thing I can think of, because it's random, right? Everything comes up before the wheel resets. So anyway, another mystery. Next up is Gracious Error, Ellen Malley's Gracious Error by Dimensions. I've seen a lot of people stitch this in the past. And I love this. I love everything about this. Except I'm probably not going to love the snow. But it's the kit everything. I started it January 1st, 2021, and I did get a page finish. And I bought this from a D-stash. She had everything like in floss bags, like everything was separated. She just got it, kitted it, and did nothing. So I was very happy to get it, although I think it's readily available. I don't think that's a problem. And so now I have a page finish. So now it's kind of fun, right? That building's done. But this gets, obviously it's Dimensions, it gets a ton of backstitch. But look, like you can see the buildings like kind of being obscured by the falling snow, right? With no backstitch, you can still see a lot of dimension. You know, the faces are creepy. They have no faces, but that's why I love Dimensions, because even though the back stitch is really important, just the blending of all of those threads, I have no problem doing that. I think it adds enough to make it worth it. So now I'm getting into the ladies' clothes, which is kind of cool, and gentlemen's clothes. So when it comes up again, it'll be fun to start the next page. And I think I'm going to start the page down, because it only goes down one more. So there's only one, and it's not even as big as this. It's smaller, but then there's a lot to the side. So, and Dimensions does everything beautifully except for the crunchy fabric. But you know what? It's full coverage, and it doesn't matter, and it's easy stitching. Because they're fabric, it's just easy. Okay, number 9, moving on. Birdsong Garden by Marty Bell. Boy, back in the day, in the mid to late 90s, I would say, Marty Bell, we were like, what? How is that even possible? But that's cross stitch. It was so amazing. Because everything, you know, you kind of get tired of the teddy bears and ducks of the 80s. This is stitched on 18 count Ariel by Picture This Plus, and I started this on July 17th of 2023, and I got this at Stitch by Stitch in Cape May. It was in their in the back of the store. They just sort of have all these leaflets, and if you've got the patience to go through them, and that's where this was. So, oh, this is I'm like, where is it? Okay. This is still on my lap stand because, like I said, I'm still working on it. That isn't a hanging thread. That's a thread and a needle. So I am on page 2. So last time I worked on it, I had a page finish, which this is one of those that I did not have a 2025 calendar for. But I really like it. So it only goes as wide as you see, but then it's long. It's like a long oval. So, all right, let me put that down before I hurt somebody. And last is the always moving forward. The Joey Forget About It Super Secret Project, 99 bottles of beer on the wall by Ink Circles. And I did not go to my stitching meetup, my craft meetup this month. I was going, and then work just got in the way again. And, you know, I really can't tell clients, I'm really sorry. I know that you work a lot, and I know that this is the only night you could see the house, but I have a stitching meetup. I'm sorry. Can't do it. So, I missed it. But as a result, because Joey Forget About It was out that night anyway, so we laughed because it was like it was the perfect night for me to go to that. He was out anyway. But once I got home from my appointment, I started working, and I got a lot done. I got 3 more bottles done down there at the bottom. So I have 2 bottles left on this side. And of course the shelves, right? Like, they're the shelves. They take nothing at all. I could do that, you know. And there's no back stitching. So I have 2 more bottles on this side, and then these 3 shelves have 5. So that makes 15. Have 5 bottles a shelf, 3 shelves. So I have 15. Essentially, I have 17 to go. I just needed to double check this because in the when I was looking at this, this is why you need glasses, right? When I was showing it to you, it looked like my bottles weren't lined up. They are indeed lined up. It was just an optical illusion. And it's funny because some of the bottles are wider, some are skinnier. Like when she charted this, she made it so that, you know, they all fit. So they all end in a row, obviously. But there are a few like that's a fatter bottle. So, but we're getting there. I mean, it's a lot of bottles stitched, right? And I will get this professionally framed because it doesn't need to be crooked or cut wrong or any of those things that we've already had this discussion. What's going to happen? So, okay. So next, let's go to haul. I have a couple things I never usually do. So I was very, very busy this summer, and I with work, and summertime generally things get slower. They did not get slower for me. So as a reward to myself for not having one single day to drive myself to the shore or sit on my patio and stitch or do any of the things that every winter I swear I'm going to do in the summer. Having had no time, what I did have time for was a little bit of retail therapy. And Everything Cross Stitch had this weekend sale where shipping was free. So I'm like, sign me up. So I went through, there is this pattern I'm going to show you. And this has been on my wish list pretty much since the beginning of time. And I always say, no, I don't need another full coverage. It's very big. But I thought, my luck, it's going to go out of print. And then I'll never get it. And I'll say, why didn't I just have it? So not only did I get it, I'm going to start it. Maybe at the end of this year. I don't know when. Soon. And it is the Sunflower Inn. And let me see. Adapted from artwork by Thomas Wood. I don't know what it is that appeals to me. I love to stitch a good house. I love to stitch a good scene. I don't know what this is about this that just, you know, every time I go in to try and whittle down my wish list and just say, no, you don't really need that. You don't really need that. Just get it off your wish list. I never take this one off. It has seriously been on my wish list probably for 5 years. So that was the first thing. And let me tell you something. It's a lot of pages. It is heavy. Look at that. I mean, I don't usually stitch things that are like, I do full coverage, but I don't do like a Haid. I don't do like, you know, it's got 47 pages or whatever. I never do those. This one does. So it doesn't have 47, but it's got a lot for me. And then the other thing, I realized that I don't have many, I'm trying to fill the gaps, right? So you saw what I worked on this summer, the picture. It was in Just Cross Stitch magazine, Counting Puddles. It came out great, and I'm like, okay, so that's another summer thing I have. That's really good. What don't I have? I do not have one Valentine's Day item. Nothing. I made one for my grandman because I put his, I told you this before, put his birth announcement on the board, and then I did like Valentine's Day, St. Patrick's Day, Easter, summer, like all that. But I don't have any for myself. And that was more like childlike. That was like a teddy bear holding a red balloon or whatever. So Erin Elizabeth, love Erin Elizabeth designs. Have none, to my knowledge. I probably have one in stash. Valentine's tier. When I made my daughter that little mini bonus Christmas tier that was in the Just Cross Stitch Christmas magazine, I decided I'm all about the tiered trays. So I'm going to start this the 1st of January. Probably won't take that long, but if I can have it done by the end of January, while still stitching other things, then I have my first Valentine's thing. And I just put in my cart, did not purchase yet, her patriotic tier, because I was watching a Flosstuber today. Can't remember who, sorry. I wrote it down, but that'll be for, like, technically that'll be next month. And she was talking about everybody stitching all the things for the 250th anniversary. 250th anniversary of the signing of the Declaration of Independence. Again, near and dear to my heart, as well as my location. And I thought, I should really commemorate that. I'm not a big, I think I have one patriotic piece because I don't really like just red, white, and blue. You know, like, to me, that's boring. I need a little more color. But, so I found her tiered tray, and I really like that. If you can think of something that is not this monster project, and I don't need a flag or anything like that. As you know, my daughter is in the Army. I have a lot of flag stuff, but I want something specifically to commemorate the 250th anniversary of the signing of the Declaration of Independence, even if it means I have to personalize it myself. It doesn't have to say like 250th anniversary and or whatever they're calling it. They're calling it something. But if you got an idea, drop it in the comments, and I would greatly appreciate it. But as it stands now, I will probably get that patriotic tier just because I love her designs. So that was way too long on that. But, and one more thing, my Rogue Stitching Atomic Ranch fabric of the month every other month. Let's see if I can see this without putting my glass. I'll just put my glasses on. This is called Blue Ridge. It is a piece of 18 count Aida. And that is pretty true. Now, as you know, I just told you, I'm not a big blue fan, but I am a big scenery fan. And how great would that be? Would that not make a great sky that I don't have to? It's like a mid-Amish life. I used Fiber on a Whim Celestine. I'm not stitching that. I don't need to stitch all that sky in that chart because I already took care of it. So I feel like this would be really good for that. The fabric is, I know I say this every time I show one of their fabrics, which I've never had before. Their fabrics are phenomenal. They're soft yet strong, if you know what I mean. Like, sometimes picture this plus is a little like loosey-goosey. So, anyway. And one more thing I got. My birthday is on the 10th. Let me take my glasses off, even though I could see you so much better with them on. Or I could see me. My birthday is September 10th, and about, I don't know, 2 weeks before my birthday, I sent my husband a link for a new floor stand, and said, in case you don't have any ideas. So Joey Forget About It said, well, he said, I pushed that link that link button so fast. He said, because I decided what I was going to get you, I can give you for Christmas instead. And this was a great idea. And he said, you never ask for this kind of stuff. He said, you always ask for this kind of stuff. You never get this kind of stuff. No, nobody ever wants to buy me. They're always like, buy it yourself. Buy yourself the cross-stitch stuff. No, I want you people to buy it for me. Like my own children. Looking for a good gift idea for Christmas? Get me a pattern or two. I think they feel like because it's not super expensive to do that they shouldn't do that. And we all know that's silly, right? So anyway, so he bought me the stand. It's still in the box. I can't even tell you what it is or where it came from. It came from Etsy, but that's all I know. I will write that information down if anybody's interested. I have a stand, but it is probably as old as my middle child. So I bought it from somebody when I was working in Philly. She was a big cross-stitcher. She did everything. She did cross-stitch, she did crewel, she did all the things. And she sold me this wooden stand. And then it had a slot in it where you could put your chart. Like you could just, I don't know, it came with like a, like a magnetic board, like we have now. But I haven't bought myself a new one because I'm like, no, I want that board and I need somewhere to put the chart. And, the last couple of years I've been like, no, I don't. I don't need that part of it anymore. But this one, I would use it and it owes me nothing, right? 32 years old, but it would literally collapse on itself because the screws, like it just wouldn't hold anymore. So I put my project on it and then if I walked away from it and came back, it was like folded in on itself. So it's time for a new board. So that was very nice of Joey, forget about it, to forego what he thought I wanted and get me what I actually wanted. Okay, so who I'm watching. I'm going to need the glasses for this one. I am watching. I have the names of no less than 20 people, but I'm breaking it up because it's a lot. And as it is now, this probably goes back to sometime in July, not necessarily August, but I had others that I wanted to mention. And now I can't remember what it is about them that I like. So, Geeky Witch Melissa, Adelaide Stitches, she is from Australia. And I did make a note to myself on this one. Mama Bear Stitching Manoir. The hollow book finish. She did a finish that is in a hollow book. Love that. Can't tell you what the finish was. I'm gonna need to get better about that because of course, when you're watching it and I jot down the names, I'm like, I will never forget this. Sure. Okay. So my plans, kind of already went over that, right? I'm going to start the Valentine tray in January. I will probably start the sunflower in December. And I'm thinking about, and I don't know if I'm going to do this or not, because now that I'm kind of making progress on things, I don't know if I need to mess with that. But I'm thinking about starting a new holiday or season item in the holiday season or season that it is. So in other words, in winter, I'll start something wintry. In spring, Easter. I just don't know, like, if I'm going to do that, because isn't it better to kind of finish, unless something really, really grabs me, and we'll see. So definitely the Valentine tray, definitely sunflower in, and then we'll see on the other stuff. So that's it for plans. Okay, it's the little things segment. So in my last floss tube, glasses. Sorry, Joey, forget about it, just told me his plane is delayed. So, surprise. Okay, last month, it's the little things. Jan Brandt, 3739. Hi, Jan. Said she is grateful for her hubby. Kathy Noggle, 2661. Hi, Kathy. And I got to tell you, I love this one. In a million years, I wouldn't have thought of this. Is grateful for the power company workers who come out when your power goes out. She said she was out there, her power went out, and she saw them. She realized then, like, wow, it's really dark, and they are out there doing their jobs under dark and scary conditions. She is 100% right. Very intuitive. That was really a good one. So thank you, Kathy. So what's your little thing? I'll tell you what mine is this month, but you tell me what yours is. So this month, we decided it was time to turn in my car. I drove an Infinity. It was only a few years old, but like things, when things start, you're like, oh, you're right on that border of like having to commit to doing things. So tires, brakes, that kind of stuff. But the driver's seat had broken, and a year ago, and they fixed it. And I didn't realize until like 3 months ago when Joey Forget About It said, your lumbar support's broken. I said, what lumbar support? He said, on the driver's seat in your car. I said, are you kidding me? So they fixed the mechanism on the car because it was no longer sliding back and forth. Very hard to drive a car at 5'3" if your seat is all the way back and won't go forward so you can reach the gas and brake. So they fixed that, but then they broke my lumbar, and the seat has squeaked the entire time. And I had a little ding in my door and, all the things. So Joey Forget About It said, I got a bad feeling. I feel like this car is not going to make it. And I did not disagree. So anyway, so we go out car shopping, and the car I wanted turned out to be more like a mortgage payment than a car payment. And that was with me turning in my 3-year-old Infinity. And we knew what the value of the Infinity was, so they weren't wrong. Like, they were being fair about it. So this car that I was looking at, the interest rate was higher than it would be on like a different model. So sometimes you've got to be grateful for the little things, and here is my little thing. Joey Forget About It looked at me and said, I know you don't want to hear this, but Nate, maybe you need to consider this model, like a different model, same car company. And he said, I think, we were sitting in the showroom, and he said, I think right over your shoulder is that model. And I like glanced over my shoulder. I'd never even seen it. It was behind me the whole time we were sitting there, and I hadn't seen it. And I turned and I looked at it, and I thought, wow, that's a good looking car. Like that's kind of nice. And he said, I don't know, maybe that's not the right model. So I got up and I walked around the back of it, and he was right. So it was in the showroom, so the windows were down. And so I got to look in, and I'm like, wait a minute. And I looked at the sticker, and it was not a lot cheaper, like $3,000 or $4,000, let's say. I'm like, this has so much more in it than the car that was breaking my heart, that I was not going to pay that car payment to drive it. So I was like, this is interesting. So here comes the salesman, because he goes in, talks to his manager, they talk about their golf game or whatever it is they all talk about, and comes out, and we said, pivot, can you get us into this one? And I said, this one, this color, these bells and whistles, this one. And he said, oh, he didn't even turn around and go back in. He said, you're going to be so happy. And he walked back in and he came back out. And for a difference of $3,000, the difference in the payment was $300 a month. So I said, I'm sorry, like, I'm a real estate agent. I understand mortgages, so car loans, whatever. How on earth could $3,000 make a $300 a month payment? And he said, because the one that I was looking at, it is in the last year of like their technology package. Like they do it on a 7-year rotation. And these aren't like off the belt. You know what I mean? Like it was a little sportier looking and whatever. And he said, and these are like factory made and, whatever. And he said they buy down the rate. The rate was 2.5% less for the car that I got that had all the things in it. Because even from the beginning, I was like, I'm giving up my Infiniti that has like a lot of cool features on the inside, except for the fact that the seat didn't work. And what I'm getting is less, but I don't know, it's a really good looking car. And so the salesman said, so are you inside the car more or are you outside the car more? And I said, oh, I'm definitely inside the car more, obviously. And he said, okay, so don't you want that? And I was like, you know what? He is correct. So I am grateful, long story short, so sorry. I am grateful for the fact that Joey Forget About It said one sentence, and that one sentence made all the difference, just pivoted our mindset. All he said was, I know you don't want to hear it, but I think maybe you need to consider the other car. And he was right. And the next morning, he said to me, I'm even afraid to ask, but do you have any buyer's remorse because you didn't get the car you went in for? And I said, honestly, I probably would have had buyer's remorse from the other car because I was giving up a lot and I would have had to pay a lot more. We would never have paid that. Never. But, so that one sentence just kind of, we did a pivot on, and it was, he said the right thing at the right time. If he had said it when we were walking into the dealership, I would have wanted to smack him. But he said it at the right time as I was thinking, we are leaving here and we are not buying from this company because we can't. These cars are priced out of our range. And here, that was not the case at all. It was just the way the financing was structured and whatever. And it made more sense to buy than lease, even though I'm a real estate agent. I have leased many cars. I never go over my miles. But I bought the Infiniti, so I didn't want to go back to leasing. So we bought this and really happy. So sometimes somebody says something to you. Now, obviously, he is my husband. He knows that his sentence impacted me. But sometimes someone will say something to you and then walk away, or it's just in passing, and they never see the impact that it has on you. So there you go. You never know when you're going to impact someone's decisions or life in the bigger scheme of things. This is a car. This is not, life. But you never know. So, again, so what's your little thing? Sorry, that took longer. I had to give you the backstory, though, so you could understand why. Okay, 2 more things. Book talk. 3 more things. Book talk. I read in August The Last Affair by Margot Hunt. I read it as a book. I told you I'll always tell you if I'm reading it as a book or an audiobook. This was a book. And it's a story about 2 people, Nora and Josh. They have an affair. It's not a secret. They have an affair. It's so random because he's her kid's orthodontist. And what the story is about is not the affair. It's the collateral damage and the fallout from the affair even when the other parties don't know about it, the other spouses don't know about it. And there's a murder mystery. And I won't tell you who got murdered and, whatever. But it's very interesting the way the author wove that into the story. So it's not a story about cheating. It's a story about how it impacts people on a very fictional, basic level. Like this isn't a deep thing. So if that's kind of a trigger point for you, it really isn't like a deep emotional, psychological dive. It's more about almost like character development, like his wife, her husband, each of their kids, the friends, the things. But it's a murder mystery and it's good. So I do recommend that. Another one, I actually read this in July, but I had other books I wanted to tell you about. It's called She Left by Stacey Gray. Also read it in book form. So Amy Brewer is this teenager. We're going back 20 years, right? Took place 20 years ago. She's a teenager who walks out on a house party. There's 6 of them, and she walks out. She doesn't like the way they're acting, doesn't like the way they're treating her, so she leaves. A few hours later, the other 5 people in the house get murdered. The murder is never solved. So she's living under this cloud, like, is she the murderer or, what? And she doesn't really remember a lot. She changes her name, she moves away. So 20 years later, she gets an invitation to go to this big house party on this remote island, think Agatha Christie, with 10 other, from a journalist who is writing a book on the crime, and 10 other people are invited to this house also with connections to this crime. So storm rolls in, they can't leave, somebody gets murdered, and then through, the point of views, past and present, the crime unfolds, and you find out all the things you didn't know that didn't make sense. So that was really good. Binge talk. Oh, one of my favorites, Only Murders in the Building. Next season is up. I can honestly say I did not start it yet. We are binge watching right now a series called The Jetty, also murder mystery. We only watch, I don't know what happened to us. We watched an episode of it 2 weeks ago. We were away this weekend for my birthday. 2 weeks ago, we watched an episode of it. 3 nights ago, Joey Forget About It says, weren't we watching something like Saturday night when we ordered pizza like 2 weeks ago? What was that? It was a murder mystery. I'm like, literally had zero recollection. I'm like, was I drunk through that? I don't know. What were we watching? So we go through all the streaming services. Here, it's called The Jetty. I believe it's on Hulu. Could be Netflix. I really got to write this stuff down. And it's good. It's really interesting. So we will continue to watch that. But my next binge, and we finished season 3 of White Lotus. That could be very disturbing for very, very many people for very, very many different reasons. It was very intense, and if you're okay to watch that kind of intense, holy smokes kind of stuff, it's interesting. But it is intense, and the subjects are unique, and none of the characters are likable. In season 3, at least, I found one character that I liked, and he was just a young boy. He was like a high school kid or something on vacation with his family. He was the only one that I didn't absolutely hate in all 3 seasons. So take that one under advisement. But Only Murders in the Building, right? Who? Martin Short, Steve Martin, and Selena Gomez. And now I don't know if every star in Hollywood has been knocking down the doors to get on to this show because it's so good, but it's got kind of like an all-star cast. So we usually wait and give it a couple of episodes so we can binge a few at a time instead of waiting because, like I said, I couldn't even remember that we had started watching something else. I need to kind of watch them like when I'm watching them. So I got to stop doing that. My camera's about to fall down. So I'm going to start binging that. So now I have one new segment, and it is called, What is Your Unicorn? What is your unicorn? I have a unicorn, a single unicorn. I probably have more, but I really have one. It is by Dimensions. It is called Birch Point by Charles Wysocki. I have seen it as high as $225. I have seen it at about $80. I feel like unless I was ready to start it now, I wouldn't pay that for it. But that is kind of my unicorn. So I guess it's not really a unicorn. It's a financial unicorn, right? I'm waiting for it to come back to some of the other prices of Dimensions, and maybe it will and maybe it won't. I mean, but it is, I do see it from time to time. I think right now on eBay there might be 2 people with it. But tell me what your unicorn is, and give me one, and give me the most important one to you that would just, you would drop everything else to start it the minute that you got your hands on it. Part of the reason I'm doing this is you never know. If someone has what you want, you may be able to get it, without mortgaging the house, selling the car, not eating, those things. So I'm sure that's going to hurt. Be kind and gentle. I'm just joking. Nobody has to give up anything. But that's what I'm telling you to think, like intensely, like what is your unicorn? So I feel like that's everything. Maybe next month we will have a Joey Forget About It sighting. I will tell you this, he was not thrilled about the entire talking about my whips. So I told him, what if he just picked 3 that he sees me working on, that he shows some interest in? And he said, well, then that means you have to show them all to me so I can tell you which ones I like the best. And he said, I don't want to do that. So he may come on, he may answer questions. If you have any Joey Forget About It questions, I have a list from the last time. A bunch of people asked some questions that he will answer when he does appear. I feel like he's like Bigfoot. Like, is he real? Is he not real? And he'd like to keep it that way, but I would like him to make an appearance. So if you have any questions for Joey Forget About It and you haven't already asked, because I do have a list from the last time I said you would see him, let me know. And I think that is everything, and I will try and be back. It's probably at this point only 3 weeks. Maybe not. I may just need to wait just to give me time to work on the 9 whips or 10 that I usually do in a month. But hopefully I will be back soonish, and maybe I'll have a cameo appearance by a guest or a co-host. Any questions? Anything, comment, like, subscribe. I appreciate all of it. I appreciate you guys sticking with me for 1 hour, 4 minutes. Oh boy. Oh, I'm going to get some not nice comments for that. I am so sorry. And if I knew how to edit, I'd probably be able to get it down to 50 minutes. But I don't, and we're just going for it. If I knew how to edit, I'd do something about my hair. But I don't. So take care. Have a good early fall. And I will see you a few weeks before Halloween. Bye.